Hello everyone. On behalf of the Odont Academy of Learning classes, I would like to welcome you for the first session of Public Health Dentistry. I would like to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Diplina Burman, MDS in Public Health Dentistry. Well, the subject Public Health Dentistry has a varied aspect. So we do not have proper interest in the subject when it comes to theory. And there is another very deadly aspect of this particular subject, which we tend to avoid it. Initially, when we were in our school, there were people who used to love maths, and maybe today they are like doing good in their engineering career. There were some who, to avoid maths, opted for a biology based career. And unfortunately, or fortunately for maybe few, we have a topic which is known as biostatistics, or the mathematics which connects maths to biology. Fine. So starting the series of public health dentistry classes with the topic biostatistics, measures of central tendency and measures of dispersion. It will be a bit lengthy class, well, but it will include all what you require for your NEET MDS examinations. I won't put it in an MCQ format, but I'll be telling you about the highlights, and I'll be showing you charts and diagrams which could be included as your pictorial questions also. So are you prepared for today's session? And we'll start off with our first public health dentistry class for Masters of Dental Sciences. The first thing which we would deal in with before we jump into our session is time. What majorly would make you stand different from others is time. Time is the key role changer in entire, both the time for preparation, the time you are supposed to devote for the particular subject, the time for solving the questions also during your NEET entrance examination. So firstly, you should know the management of time. So we'll in the entire course of this chapter, we'll get to know what all how to save on time and what are the steps of dealing in with minimal time although maximum output. See, these are the contents under which we'll be talking today. Firstly, the word statistics. There are certain things which comes in your MCQ questions. Today, I know I am assuming that all of you attending this lecture today are aware of, or you all of you must be having certain basic knowledge and idea regarding biostatistics. So we'll start up and we'll maybe review or brush up that knowledge and proceed. So the word statistics, it can be an Italian word statista, which meaning statesman, or else a German word statistic, which means political science. These are things which comes in your MCQ. Then the father of health statistics, it's John Grant. This you have to mug up. There is no understanding, absolute no understanding in this. So what is statistic dealing with? Statistic deals with the principle and methods of collection, presentation, analysis, and interpretation of the numerical data of different kinds. So there are certain principles of biostatistics. Firstly, it's the collection of the data. Secondly, it's the presentation of data. Next is the summarization of the data. Then and it is your summarization of the data, analysis of the data, and finally it's the interpretation of the data. Fine, we move on to the next. It is the common statistical terms. So under biostatistics, there are certain terms which we go through. That is the vital statistics, the medical statistics, dental statistics, and physiotherapy statistics. Now, what are the vital statistics? Vital statistics are the demography. What do you mean by demography? Demography means your age, gender, or then like your monthly income, your educational status, etc. Medical statistics, it deals in with medicine, like your disease, etc. Dental statistics deals in with the dental diseases, dental treatments, dental expenses, etc. There are physiotherapy statistics also which deals in with the physiotherapy. So there are statistics based on the specialities. Then coming to the main thing, We always encounter the terms variable, data. We have been taking the term data so many times throughout our these first three slides. What is it actually? What is a variable? A variable is anything which varies from person to person, varies from person to person or an item to item is known as variable. Like your name can be a variable. Why? Because it varies. Not all people have the same name, but there are people with the same names, so they categorize as one particular similar variable and the others as not like dissimilar. Now coming to examples of variable characteristics, you know the meaning of DMFT by now, right? So it is the decade missing filled tooth index or the plaque score or the incisor width, etc. These are characteristics which a person possesses. So there are two kinds of variable. One is the qualitative and the other is the quantitative. Quality variable, breakup, quality variable. So by quality, what do you mean? Any character that is assessed in terms of attributes such as gender or degree of severity, it yields qualitative data. So it is like the degree of severity, something which cannot measure in terms of quantities or numbers. That is your qualitative variable. Suppose I take someone and tell you are a good person. Can you measure? Can you measure in terms of numbers? You cannot. You can just tell that person is good or bad. So that is your qualitative variable. Quantitative, something which you can use by means of numbers. Fine, like your DMFT, incisor width, etc. Then coming to the types of variables. So there are different types, other types of variables as well, which includes your nominal variable or your Dicomotous variable. Nominal meaning categorical variables and no measurement scales. Fine, they do not have your measurement scales. So these are examples including your blood group types, occupation type, etc. Then there are dichotomous variables, which are binary variables or dichotomous. Di means two. So binary variables, which means good or bad, well or sick, living or dead. Okay. So dichotomous means two, any two binary variables which have two levels, and nominal variables are which like has no measurement, absolute no measurement. Then coming to the ordinal or the ranked variables, it is many types of data can be characterized in terms of more than two values and have clearly implied direction from better to worse, but the data are not measured to a measurement scale, which is 0 to 0 to 10, with 0 is no point. Can you cite an example? All of you are aware of that feedback form which you have in your Pantaloon showroom, whether it's good, bad, very bad, or excellent. There's a smiley, there are four smileys which pops up, and you need to click on it. So those are kind of ordinal variables or ranked variables where you have particular ranks to those 0 to 10. You have your VAS scale, visual analog scale, where you measure your pain intensity from a particular number. Fine. Then there are continuous variables as well as ratio variables. Continuous or the dimensional variables. There are many types of measured on the continuous scale. Example, height, weight, serum glucose level, etc. Ratio variables is continuous scale which has a true 0 point. The variables are derived from which can be ratio variables. Example, the Kelvin temperature scale, the temperature scale, your thermometer scale. Coming to observation. What is an observation? What do you observe? You see. What do you actually see? You see an event which is measured. Example, what is an event in case of dentistry? Your caries is an event. When a patient comes to you, you see dental caries. Fine. And what do you measure? The intensity of the disease. How do you measure the intensity of the disease of dental caries? It's because of DMFT. It is by DMFT that you measure the intensity of the disease. So observation is an event which is measured. And what is the observational unit? It is the object or the person. Now coming to what data is. Data are a set of variables or the values which of one or more variables recorded on one or more individual. So data can be defined as a set of values. What is data? Data is a set of values which is recorded on one or more observational units. Here again, like your variable, it is quantitative, qualitative, primary, and secondary. We'll come to them. Then there are methods of collection of primary data. Now, what actually is primary data? I am not sure how many of you have been exposed to research, but we all know that our faculties do a lot of surveys, a lot of healthcare research or questionnaires. And nowadays, during this COVID times, we all have a lot of Google Drive links or Google Docs links where we are asked to fill those answers. Fine. So that is if your faculty is the person who is doing the research, or maybe if you are doing the research on your own, the data from the results or the output what you get from your investigation is your primary data. Fine. But if I do a study and if you are asked to refer to my study and jot it down, then that is secondary. You are like you are extracting information from someone else's study. So that makes your data secondary. So there are various methods of data collection. As all of you know, there are observational method, then interview method, questionnaire based, schedule based, clinical examination, investigation, warranty cards, distribution audit, content analysis, and through internet. So these things you have to know by person, because MCQs are asked to these kinds. Like they'll give an example like height and weight, what kind of data it is, or what kind of a variable is it. So these things you have to be clear about. Then coming to the observational method, it is the most common method, as we all know. And observation is just by investigators' own observation with or without asking. Like you observe. Can you tell me a parameter? Like I'll tell you, respiratory cycle. What do? We observe and we mark. We don't ask the patient to breathe in, breathe out. That is one such example. Then another example, dental related, comes to your assessment of the carie status of the group or population. Fine. Interview is, we all like to be on the other side of the table. Suppose our final examinations. Okay. So when the faculty is asking your viva, maybe on the grand viva day. So what is he's trying to extract information from you, right? He's trying to know how much you have learned. So that thing, if you apply it to know certain things, suppose you want to know the brushing habits of certain group of population. So you go there, you start asking them. So that is your interview method. Then your personal interviews, there are two types of interviews, structured and unstructured interviews, and there are direct personal interviews, and there are indirect personal interviews. Fine. So these things we won't go in details because it's detailed information is not required for you. You just need to know what what is included and what are there to answer your questions. Then there are questionnaire method. What do you like? All of you must be aware what a questionnaire is. It is a group of questions which you like accumulate in a paper format or in 2 or 3 pages, and there are various types of multiple choice questions are the exact pattern of questions which you are going to get for your NEET examination. Then open-ended questions. Open-ended question meaning I ask, what is your name? What is your name means there is no option. I don't give you 4 options, Ram, Sam, Yadu, Vadu. I'm not giving you 4 options that tick on it. If I had given you 4 options, it would have been closed-ended and not open-ended. I'm leaving it to you for you to answer. So that's open-ended question. Closed-ended, it is another form of MCQ with particular, here the answer will be either yes or no. Then coming to schedule method. Schedule is a common difference, like there's a one has to go to the objectives. Here schedule method, there's a difference between questionnaire method and schedule method. Here the person or the investigator goes directly and then explains. Then coming to the collection of the secondary data. Under secondary data collection, there are 2, published data and unpublished data. Then coming to the methods of presentation, you can present it in a tabular form, diagrammatic representation, or graphical representation. Here, what is important for your NEET MDS examinations is the methods of presentation of data, because there are questions. When I was going through your last 10 years question, there are questions where they have given graphical forms and they have asked you to identify what kind of graphs are there. Then coming to tabulation of data, the data can be classified on the following based on the geographical area, chronological meaning on the basis of time, qualitative meaning according to certain attribute, and quantitative in terms of magnitude. So here are certain examples. We'll talk about each one in the following slides. So first one, distribution of BDS students by the year wise. This is what? This is a simple table. And this is what? A bar diagram. A bar. There are bars and there is space between the bars. These things you have to observe and you have to be confident, because these are certain areas of your subject, public health dentistry, where it's easy scoring. So you should not miss out here. This is a simple table. This is a simple bar diagram. Is there are bars and there are spaces between the bars. Okay. This is a two-way table. See, now this is simple, is like only year and number of subjects are there. If you compare with this 2-year table, so here there are years and there are there is another variable, like there is a gender variable also. Then coming to, that was a simple bar where there was only one bar and there was space between the groups. Here this is multiple bar. Here in multiple bar, if you see there are, like for the first category, there are 2 bars. Fine. Here again, there are 2 bars. So more than 1 bars are there. So it is multiple bar diagram. Then coming to component bar diagram. What do you mean by component bar diagram? The bars are constructed on the basis of total and divided. It is constructed total and the total divided into its component. So distribution of the groups. So there is one variable, there is another variable, and it is based on the total. Now see, the total is this. For the first group, total is 93. So see, the first group is 93 and there are 2 genders, male and female. This is component bar. The previous one was multiple bar diagrams. Here you have constructed on a basis of total and the total is divided into components. So this is the total, and in total among 93 respondents, there are 39 males and 54 females. So it has been depicted here. Clear? Then coming to percentage bar diagram. So the previous bars are based on the absolute values. Absolute values meaning the frequency, the exact what they are occurring. But there are certain which of where we calculate the percentage and then we make the bar diagram. So the example is here. See, blood group, male, percent, and female. Unlike the previous which I had shown you, it was male, female, and total. But here we have put forward the male percentage and the female percentage. See, here total percentage will always be 100. So the bars go, grade up to 100, and then they have 40%, I guess, 41.9%, 42, almost 42% males and 58% female. Here, if you see, it is 42% male and 58% female. So similarly, this is known as percentage bar diagram. Break up the words. Percentage meaning it will have percentage. Then there is rectangles. The area of these rectangles are area is equal to length into breadth. The procedure is very similar to percentage diagram. See, this is a rectangle. This area they are calculating length into breadth, the distribution, and this is similar to the percentage bar graph, but the values are different here. Coming to pie diagram, all of us know what is like the biggest example. What the first thing what comes in our mind is a pizza. A pizza is having a triangular pieces. A circular piece of bread is having usually has triangular pieces. So you can consider the pizza as a pie, and the individual areas or the compartments which we have as your individual component. So angle of sector is equal to value of the sector by total value or frequency into 360. So this is your normal pie diagram, which is your normal pizza. Okay, and this is your year, number, and angles. Here your entire 360 degrees is divided into several angles based on the percentage. And then exploding pie diagram. What does the term exploding means? Explosion. It will boom out. Fine. So one thing which is organized and the other things are booming out. Okay, so this is known as exploding pie diagram. Then wedging pie diagram. You want to highlight a particular variable, then what do? You opt for wedging pie diagram, where one variable will be wedged out. Wedging means something, an extra piece. Wedge meaning an extra piece, right? So here you are putting the wedging pie diagram. Then coming to pictogram, this can be used when a person does not know about the traditional bar diagrams, and it can be, examples are number of deaths due to cholera in 4 cities and number of students. So these are the this can be a pictogram diagram, and these are all diagrammatic representation. So you can just have a look to it. So if there are, see, number of deaths due to cholera in 4 cities, 50 cases are taken as one figure. One figure represent 50 cases. So first death is 100. So you have 50, 50. Here it is 200. So 50 into 4. Here there is 400. 1 to 8. Okay. So these are pictorial, like number of deaths due to cholera in 4 cities, A, B, C, D. Cities are A, B, C, D, number of deaths, and each dot or the each picture would represent a certain area, certain number of populations. Okay. Then coming to the graphical representation, and graphical representation is only possible for quantitative data. So under graphical representation, you have histogram, frequency polygon, frequency curve, cumulative curves, line charts, scatter plots, and cartogram. Then coming to the frequency distribution table, it is very easy, like the number of like the frequency of occurrence. In if you have 10 pencils and there are 3 pencils which are white in color and 7 pencils which are black in color, so what is the frequency of white pencil? It is like 3 or slash 10. So it's so similarly here I've cited an DMFT example. This is very easy for you guys to understand. What you have to learn from here is you have to learn what are the type of presentations they are. Fine. So coming to the histogram, what is a histogram? It is the distribution of the patients according to their DMFT. So this is an histogram. As I had already mentioned one thing, the space between two groups. Okay, in bar diagram, here we do not have any space between the bar diagrams. Between the bars, we do not have any space. It's attached to each other. Then coming to frequency polygon, it is an area diagram of frequency distribution developed over a histogram. Join the midpoints of the class, it gives a polygon. See, this is another histogram where you have the midpoints joined. Okay, so this is your frequency polygon. Then coming to frequency curve, when the number of observations is very large, it is and the group interval is reduced, the frequency polygon tends to lose its angulation, giving place to a smooth curve. So see, the number of observation is very large. The observation number is very large and group interval is reduced, and the frequency polygon tends to lose its angulation. See, here the angulation has been reduced. The angulation has been reduced and it looks more of a curve. That is known as frequency curve. Then coming to the cumulative curve, it is a graph of cumulative relative frequency. It is a graph of cumulative relative frequency distribution. Now, what do you mean by cumulative relative frequency? It is the total number of persons in each particular, range from lowest value of the characteristics up to and including higher group value. So from lower end to the higher end, from lower to higher, the total number of persons in each particular range, that is known as cumulative. Example, the cricket score record in a cricket match after each player simultaneously with the serial record of the number of runs scored by each frame. So suppose you see age group is given, number of persons are given, and less than cumulative frequency 0 to 20, 20 to 115. So here you have, see, there are 20 persons, right? So there are 0 to 20, 0 plus 20 is 20, and more than highest is your 200, so that is 250. Then your distribution of persons according to age. Here you see again The age group is 30 to 40. So you have 35 people in between. So it is 20 plus 35, it comes to 55. And here 215 minus 20 comes to 195. 195 minus 35 comes to 160. Then 160 minus 44 comes to 116. So it is more and less, the lower end and the higher end. You have two ends, the lower end and the higher end. So your lower end will be 0, and your higher end will be the total number. Here number of persons should match. Understood? So see, here the cumulative frequency curves are 35, which is the median, and then more than, so this is one. See, yeah, these are what? These values are increasing, right? This value is increasing from 20, 55, 99. So one, there will be two curves, right? There will be two curves where one value would increase and the other value would decrease. Then coming to the line chart, here a line is there. So that is known as a line chart, and it presents variables with many variations by line, and it shows the trends of any event occurring. Like as we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic, here we see a lot of graphs which comes out. We see the progression graphs. So what are they? They are line graphs. Then scatter plot, scattered, you will see all clusters everywhere, or spots dot everywhere. So what is it? It is like it is prepared after tabulation in which frequencies of at least two variables have been cross classified. And it is a graphical presentation, and it is made to show the nature of correlation between two variables, be it x and y. So height and weight, if we correlate, so we can just see their correlation, whether height is related to weight or vice versa. Then coming to cartograms or the spot maps, as you can recall your school days where in geography you were like made to color topography maps. You had certain pictures which you had to join and back. So these are maps and geographical distribution or frequency of the characteristics. The recent most example would be your COVID-19 thing only. Then these are certain applications you just need to know. I'm not going into details of this. Then coming to the next part, which includes the measures of central tendency, the measures of dispersion, and the normal distribution and the normal curve. So coming to the measures of central tendency, what do you mean by central tendency? So there are information from series of observation presented in the form of a rank or frequency distribution table, which has to be summarized by the observers to get an answer. Suppose you do a survey on how many of the final year students are following the COVID-19 protocol prescribed by the government. Okay, you do a survey. You see that only 10 people have given you a positive response. Like you have done a survey on say 50 people, and only 10 out of 50 are there. So how can you summarize in a table? You can do it in the form of a frequency table, or else you can do it as a rank observation. You can do it anything. So, but you have to know the average value or the central value. For that, you need measures of central tendency. Then you should also know that how are the other values dispersed around this particular value. Like suppose you have a central value. Now how much they are varying from this particular central value, that you need to know. Then here the average value of the characteristics is the one central value around which the other observations are dispersed, and it indicates how the values lie near the center. Coming to the mean, this is something which you have already read in your school days. What is a mean? You get a mean score. You used to get a mean rank, or not exactly rank, your number final. Like you have your first terminal, second terminal, third terminal, and then at the end of the year you have a internal marks, which they say they give you the average of the 3 terminal exams. So exactly the same concept appears here. So it's number of observations, total observations by the number of observations. Okay. Then this is just an example for you to be clear on, like just work it out whenever you have time. You will just find it. Then for grouped data or group mean, suppose you have a huge amount of data. So how do you calculate it? For a group data, how do you do it? So it is X bar, and F is the frequency of the class, N is the total number of observations. We'll go here. See, group series may, where the number of observations is large, firstly, then the data is arranged in groups and the frequency distribution table is prepared first. So grouped data is the number of observation is large, then the data are arranged in groups and the frequency distribution table is prepared. In all group season, only weighted mean has to be found. Now, what is weighted mean? What is your definition of large observation? Which data are arranged in groups? We'll see by means of an example. So see, here the average income of 10 lady doctors is 400 rupees per month. Fine. You have 400 rupees per month, and that of 20 male doctors is 600 per month. Now calculate the weighted mean or the average income of the doctors. So one may consider that all the doctors divided by 2. Okay, it is rupees 500. If we can do it like that, but is it actual thing? No, it isn't. So it is advisable. See, the total income of 10 people is the total average of so the total average of 10 lady doctors are, it is a mean income of the particular group and the frequency. It's 400 into 10, which comes to your 4,000. The lady doctors have rupees 4,000 and 20 male doctors, it's 12,000. So the total, if you would see, so what is the total income? 4,000 plus 12,000, right? So it comes to 16,000. So it is coming to 16,000. Then this is the sum of the weights. Then the weighted mean average, the weighted mean, it is like 20 plus 10. Total N is equal to, your N would be 10 female lady doctors and 20 male doctors, which equal to 30. And your total income is 16K. So 16K divided by 30 is your 533 rupees. And previously, what did you get? It was 500 rupees per month. So which one would you feel is more correct? It is 533 is more accurately presented, right? So that is why we calculate the weighted mean when the size of the observation, and like weighted mean is when the groups are fewer and the size of the observations and no. Fine. So these are certain merits and demerits of this particular. So here, how do you get NEET questions? They'll give an example and they'll ask you which kind of statistics is better, or maybe they'll ask you to find out the weighted mean of a very small sample, like an example that I had given. And then coming to the median, here again, when the observations of the variable are arranged in either ascending or descending order or the magnitude, the middle value is the median value. So what's the middle value? See, here if you see, if you take the ascending order, these numbers are given. So you arrange it in the ascending order, and which is the middle value? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. So here if you leave 4, here if you leave 4, there is a median value which is 7. So your median is 7. Fine. And here calculate, and this is when any odd numbers are there. So 9, you can divide 4, 4 and 1. Okay, 4 plus 4 is 8 and 1 is 9. And if you have 11 also, you can write 5, 5, 10 and 1, 11. So you have equal. But what if you have 10? So if you divide 5 and 5, so it will be 10, right? 5 plus 5 is equal to 10. So here you arrange it in magnitude, and the middle two values you divide it with divide by 2 and take the average. Then measures of location or percentiles. Here the averages discussed so far are measures of the central value. Therefore, they locate the center. Okay, and percentiles are how much percentage percentile they are varying from the center. See, centiles or percentiles are values in a series of observations arranged in ascending order of the magnitude, which divide the distribution in 100 equal parts. Centiles or percentiles, percent meaning 100. 50th percentile will have 50% observations. 50th percentile will have 50% observations on either side. And 10th percentile will have 10 observations in the left and 90% to the right. See, if this is your median, okay, this is your median. So here, if it is 10 percentile, so 10% will be on the left and 90% would be on the right. So similarly, if it is your 50 percentile, so it will be 50-50 on both the sides from the central value or the central tendency. Percentile, another example is your NEET MDS marks would be given in the percentile. What do you mean by percentile? That percentile, like on the left there are so many people, on the right the other person of the people are there. So thus percentiles are used to divide a distribution into convenient groups. You tell that I have received 50 percentile, meaning I have received 50%, like we can say that 50% of the population have received marks above 50%. Then coming to quartiles, here there are three different points which are located in the entire range of the variable Q1, Q2, Q3. Q1 or the lower quartile will have 25%, and on its observations on the heights falling on its left and 75 on its right. Q2 would have 50% observations on both the side, on either side. And Q3 will have Q3 or upper will have 75% observations on the left and 25 on the right. Then quintiles divide the distribution into 5 equal parts, so that 5 equal parts, so that 20 percentiles or first quintiles will have 20 observations falling to its left and 80% to the right. All the images I have summed up into one. Just know what quartiles, centiles mean. These are something you just have to go through. Acha, centile meaning 100 percentile. Quintiles meaning 5 equal parts. Then quartiles meaning 3 equal parts. Fine. Then deciles, 10 equal parts. Decimal, 10 parts. Okay. So 10 equal parts. The first decile or the 10th percentile will divide the distribution into 10% and 90%, while 9 will divide into 90% and 10%. Okay, these are the applications. Here you can go through certain location of the percentile, then preparation of the standard percentile, then growth in children, comparison of one value to another value, and measures dispersion, which is interquartile and semi-interquartile ranges. Then merits of median, demerits, it is easy to understand and calculate. And demerits are, it is based on all observation. So it is it has the potentiality to divide. Then your mode, mean, median, and mode. What is your mode? Mode is one which is the most repeated value in the particular series. So if an example is taken, here you have so many values, which is 22 repeats itself twice. So therefore, or the mode frequency 22 is 2. Okay, same. And mode, if the mode is ill-defined, we use the following formula. If the mode is ill-defined, then we use the following formula. Mode is equal to 3 median minus 2 mean. 3 median. This is a formula which you should know. 3 median minus 2 mean. Then there are certain merits and demerits also. Here it is mode is easy to understand and calculate. It can be calculated by graphical presentation also, and it is affected by fluctuations, and it can be calculated both from the qualitative point. And demerits, it is not based on the observations, and it in some cases mode is ill-defined. Then coming to measures of dispersion, here measures of dispersion meaning variability of the observation, which helps to find out how individual observations are dispersed around the mean series. So there are various types of variability, starting from genuine variability, sampling variability, observer variability, instrument variability, etc., and laboratory variability. So under genuine variability, there are two: biological variability and environmental variability. So biological variability, what are the parameters in your body which varies according to seasons or time or years? So age, you don't remain at a particular age throughout. You have your age changing, you celebrate your change of age. So that is a genuine natural variability. Okay, environmental variability is variations due to environmental factors. Then there are sampling variability, observation, etc. Laboratory variability is two examiners use the same technique, but they don't have the same result. So that is observer variability, etc. Then various measures are there to measure the variability. It includes range, interquartile range, mean deviation, standard deviation, and coefficient of variation. Now, what is range? The highest minus the lowest is your range, and the maximum minus the minimum is your range. So the maximum value minus your minimum value comes your range. Here is an example. The maximum value is 15 and the minimum value is 7. So your range is maximum minus minimum, which is 8. Then there are certain advantages and disadvantages to it. Then coming to the interquartile range, as we had already spoken about it, Q1, Q2, and Q3, I told I'll come back with a particular diagram. Here, see. Now, here you can see interquartile range pi 2 is equal to semi-quartile range. Your mean absolute deviation or mean deviation. What do you mean by mean deviation? The arithmetic mean of the deviation of the values from a measure of central tendency. X is the variable number of observations, and X is the mean, which is given. Mean deviation is X minus X bar divided by N. See, how do you calculate it? You calculate the mean, you find the deviation. Deviation X is your original value and X bar is your mean value. Then absolute deviation is you have two bars under which you do it. And this is summation of the difference from the mean divided by N. So see, there are examples to it. This is your x minus mean is your X bar, and this is your the bar is given to eliminate any negative or positive value. You consider everything as positive. So your calculation is here. Merits, demerits, you can just go through. Then coming to standard deviation, we always pick up mean, standard deviation, mean, standard deviation. What are you deviating from? You're deviating from the mean. Mean is what? Mean is your central value. See, your central value is this, and you are deviate. Suppose one value is here and the other value is here. So how far are those values from your mean? That we measure through standard deviation. Okay. Suppose this is your mean value, okay, and one point is here and one point is here. So this deviation from the mean is your SD or standard deviation, and it is defined as the square root of the mean of the squares of all the deviations being measured from the mean of the observations. In case of discrete observations, standard deviation can be calculated. Why? This is the formula. This is the formula. If it's less than n is equal to less than 30, if n is greater than 30, then it is another. Then there are certain steps which are involved. Here, calculate the mean, find the deviations, deviation square, then sum of the squares, then divided by n minus 1 for small surface, and n for large surface, take the square root. Fine. This is another example which is given. Same way, step by step, you do it. Revising it again. These are certain examples, and this is the uses of where do you use standard deviation. Standard deviation is used for large distribution from mean from one figure use and indicates whether the variation from the mean is by chance or real, and it has in the standard error also. Now, what do you mean by standard error? Standard error is something, suppose you conduct a study, I conduct a study in West Bengal, you conduct a study in Maharashtra. So and another, there is a third person Z, okay, who conducts a study in Delhi. So what is the probability that all these three people will have the results on a similar marking? Okay. So that is how you conduct your standard error. I know it is difficult to grab up so fast, but just imagine, draw 3 points here, here, here. So what is the probability that these three people will have a certain similar kind of result? That probability is calculated by your standard error. Then coming to coefficient of variation, just mug up the formula and apply it wherever necessary. And so your CV could be standard deviation by mean into 100. Here there are certain uses, variation of certain character, variation of two different characters, and in the same series. See, series 1, series 2, mean and standard deviation. 21, mean, coefficient, everything is mentioned. For 21-year-old adult is your this standard deviation into mean by 100. Here also standard deviation into mean by 100. Coming to the last portion, which is the normal distribution and the normal curve. Here, what do you mean by the normal curve? Normal curve is also known as Gaussian curve. Here, this is an important part which you get in your MCQs, that normal curve or the Gaussian curve. What are the characteristics of a normal or the Gaussian curve is very important for your entrance. So this is a normal curve. Can you see? Now can you relate your quartiles and things? This is your central line. Okay. This is your central line, and you have similar the space is same, so that is why it is your normal curve. But if it was a 10th percentile, then it would have been different. Here 10%, here it will be 10, here it will be 90. But just because it's a normal curve, both the areas would be same. So see, arithmetically it is like mean plus 1 SD, 2 SD and 3 SD. You can see here. See, this is your 1 SD, this is your 2 standard deviation. This is your mean, this is your first standard deviation, second standard deviation, and your third standard deviation. Okay. So the area between two first standard deviation is 68.26%. Next second standard deviation is 95.46%, and the third is 99.72%. This is your first quartile, Q1, Q2, Q3. So there are certain characteristics of the normal curve. The first, it is a bell-shaped curve. So the MCQ comes like this. What is the shape of a Gaussian curve? So it is a bell-shaped curve, which and symmetric about the mean, which is at the maximum ordeal. The first and the third quartiles are equidistant from the median. Mean, median, and mode coincide, and the curve approaches horizontal axis but never reaches its horizontal axis. Meaning it will never touch the horizontal axis. It will only approach the horizontal axis. Then asymmetric distribution, as we had seen, this is all the three spaces are equal. There is no skewness. Matlab, there is no asymmetry seen. Okay. Here see, there is asymmetry seen. Then coming to the asymmetric distribution and duration of the lever, this is another example just to show you the graphs, and there are some of them are bimodal having two peaks. Bimodal meaning something which has two peaks meaning 1 and 2. Okay. The example here, you see here there are two peaks. One peak is here and the other peak is here. So this is the borderline case. Okay, there are two special mentions. One is the kurtosis. It is the measure of flat topness of the curve. If the a bell-shaped curve or the normal curve is known as mesokurtic. If the curve is relatively more peaked than a normal curve, it is known as leptokurtic. When it is more of flat surface, then it is platykurtic. And kurtosis is the humpness of the curve and points to the nature of distribution of the items. Well, these are our references through which we went through. And before we jump into the conclusion, I would like to have a, I would like to show you something, revise. I would like to summarize it. See, summary में firstly we had known about what statistics are. Okay, from where it has been derived. Next, we'll go through statistics, measures of central tendency. Measures of central tendency we read. Okay, here we under statistics we went through what are variables. Okay, variables we went. Then we had spoken much about our we had spoken about what are variables, then which is what are data, then types of data, types of variables, everything. Then we had spoken of methods of data collection, Then we had spoken about various graphs. These were your bar diagrams. Then we had joined these bar diagrams to form histograms and frequency polygons. Everything happened. These were your various types of graphs. Then we went to measures of central tendency. Under measures of central tendency, we had median, mode, quartiles. Then we had quintiles, then centiles, etc. Then we had then and ultimately we went around studying about the normal curve, normal Gaussian curve, where we had seen the space area distribution. Then we had seen the type of curves or the topness of the curve of the kurtosis. So in the entire span of duration, we went through a lot of things which were there, and a lot of things we could relate with our normal life. Okay. The only thing how you can remember or memorize the entire set of things which we went through today is by starting to apply it in your regular life. Suppose you go down to your dining hall and you sit for eating. So what are there are a couple of dishes which comes on your plate, and you sit with your dad, your mom, other family members, etc. So you start comparing age. The first thing, demographic characteristics, age. What kind of a variable is age? Then gender. How many of your males, how many of your females? Okay. Gender. What are the type of dishes are there? There are carbohydrates, proteins, fats. So there are different groups. Start classifying them. If there are 10 people and you have 10 chocolates, how many chocolates would each one get? Start applying the most silliest of the things in your regular basis, so that you don't have to mug up statistics. You will understand statistics, and you are surely going to succeed with its application. Okay, the more easier you take it, the more faster you will learn. And here we'll get back to the slides. Here the MCQs, you know the books to refer under MCQs. And if there are any queries, you can drop into the Odont Academy of Learning help box, and you can connect me there. Thank you.